Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, English Journey. Today I'm going to tell you an inspiring story called The Last Brick of the Bridge, featuring a young man named Dave. Let's begin our English journey with today's motivational story. The Last Brick of the Bridge. In a small town surrounded by hills and a roaring river lived a young man named Dave. He was known for one thing: he never finished anything he started. As a child, he would build half a kite and leave the rest. Later, he began learning the guitar, but after 2 weeks, he stopped. His friends joked, "If laziness needs a king, Dave will be crowned." But Dave wasn't lazy. He simply believed that success belonged to the naturally talented. He thought, if it's meant for me, it will come easily. If it's hard, maybe it's not for me. One year, heavy rains flooded the river and washed away the only wooden bridge connecting Dave's village to the markets. The town suffered. Farmers couldn't sell their crops, and children couldn't reach school. The government promised a new bridge, but the workers would take months. People were worried. Dave's father, a retired mason, gathered a few villagers and said, "Let's build a temporary stone bridge. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to work." The villagers agreed. Dave joined reluctantly, mostly because everyone looked at him, and he didn't want to be the only one refusing. The work was tough. They carried heavy stones, tied ropes, built pillars, and measured each step carefully. The sun burned their skin, cold winds dried their lips, and their backs ached every evening. After 3 days, Dave was exhausted. "This is not for me," he whispered. "I can't do this." He decided to quit the next morning. That evening, his father sat beside him and showed him 2 stones. One was smooth, shaped perfectly. The other was rough and chipped. "Which one do you think built this house?" his father asked. Dave pointed to the smooth one. His father smiled gently. "No, this one," he said, raising the rough stone. "The strong stones are the ones that survived pressure. The beautiful ones come later." Dave stared at the rough stone. Something stirred inside him. Maybe he too could become strong under pressure. The next morning, he rejoined the villagers. He still struggled, but every time he wanted to quit, he remembered the stone. Days turned into weeks. The bridge slowly grew. Most villagers helped for a few hours, but Dave stayed the entire day, often the last person working. For the first time, he wasn't starting something. He was continuing. And continuing was changing him. But with only one final pillar left, disaster struck. A sudden storm hit the hills. The river rose violently again and washed away half the structure. The hard work of weeks vanished in minutes. The villagers sighed in defeat. "It's impossible. We can't fight nature. We should wait for the official workers." Everyone walked home, everyone except Dave. He stood there, soaked in rain, staring at the broken stones. He felt something heavy in his chest. Not sadness, not anger, something new. Determination. He whispered to himself, "I will not start from zero again. I will finish this, no matter how many times it breaks." That night, he worked alone, placing stones, tightening ropes, adjusting pillars. His hands bled, his clothes were muddy. But he continued. The next morning, when the villagers saw him still working, they were shocked. "Dave, didn't you give up on things easily?" Dave smiled. "Maybe I once did, but not anymore. Perseverance builds stronger bridges and stronger people." Inspired, the villagers joined again. Together, they rebuilt what was lost, this time smarter and stronger. After 10 days, the temporary bridge finally stood firm across the river. When the first group of children crossed it cheerfully, Dave felt a deep warmth in his heart, a kind of happiness he had never known. The town praised him. This wouldn't have happened without Dave. He taught us what perseverance looks like, but Dave didn't feel like a hero. He only remembered a rough stone in his father's hand. From that day on, he lived with one belief: work becomes success the moment you refuse to quit. Years later, when the government built a strong concrete bridge, they carved a small line on its corner: dedicated to the spirit of perseverance, inspired by Dave. Dave touched those words every time he passed by, smiling silently, knowing that the bridge was built not just on stones, but on his determination. Success does not come from talent alone, it comes from perseverance. When challenges break your progress, don't quit. Continue with patience, hard work, and belief in yourself. Just like a bridge is built one brick at a time, success is built one effort at a time. Remember, just like Dave learned, perseverance is the key to success in work. If you keep practicing a little every day, if you don't give up when it gets hard, your work will become stronger, clearer, and more confident. If you enjoyed this story and learned something today, make sure to subscribe to English Journey for more motivating English learning videos. This is your English partner on the English Journey. Signing off. See you in the next video.